Hello, everybody. I am your host of today's USO MVP series, Adam Zuckerman, and you are in for a treat. We have the fittest man in history and record-setting CrossFit Games champion. He's the fifth consecutive crown, or won his fifth consecutive crown last October to break away from Rich Froning for the most titles of all time. He also owns the most career event wins, that's 24, and wins in a single game, that's 14. Matt Fraser, it is great to have you. Why don't you join me on screen if you could?
Hey, how's it going?
Fantastic. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is a treat for everybody. We've got service members and their families joining you from around the world today. Why don't you walk us through what we're going to get into? I know that we have a workout, and then after the workout, we have some Q&A. Is that right?
Yeah. So we'll go through three pieces. We'll go through a quick warm up, and then I know a lot of people have restrictions on getting equipment or space, so I kept it very simple. It's all body weight, quick intervals. So we're going to go through this workout 3 times through, so 6 total rounds. So it'll be 18 minutes and we'll be all done. But I can promise you this is a burner. I was testing it out yesterday and was like, okay, I think it was originally going to be 8 rounds. And then I thought, no, 6 is more appropriate. And then once we wrap up the workout, we all catch our breath. We can sit down for a bit of a Q&A.
All right, sounds good. So the way to work is if any of the attendees want to join Matt on screen, Brady Bunch style, just use the raise hand feature in Zoom and we will bring you over. After that wraps up, Matt's going to be joined by Matt O'Keefe, his friend and manager. He'll moderate the Q&A, and we have a few treats in store as well. So with that, why don't we hop into the workout?
Perfect. Are we able to pull up the workout graphic really quick? Just so I can kind of go through. So this, we're going to do it. So it's 3-minute blocks, and we're going to jump back and forth between these 2 workouts. So rounds 1, 3, and 5 are going to be the top piece. So 40 jumping lunges, 20 mountain climber push-ups. And then in the remaining time, we're going to do max knee tuck. So it's like sitting in an L sit and keep your heels off the ground and just pull your knees up to your chest, extend back out. It's not for time. What you're trying to accomplish is just keeping your heels off the ground as long as possible while still moving. And then rounds 2, 4, and 6, we're going to start with the buy-in is 30 jumping air squats. If you want to have a bit more of a challenge, keep your hands on your head as you're going through. 20 squat thrusts. So they're just a burpee without bringing your chest down to the ground. So go down, hands on the ground, kick your feet back, kick them back up, stand up. And then Russian bicycle twist. So it's the classic sitting in the V position and you're cycling your knees up to your chest and just twisting as you go. Once again, there's no score. You're just trying to get the maximum amount of time. If you can get through all 6 of these rounds without ever putting your heels down, that's a big accomplishment. All right, yeah, so we'll go through a quick warm-up. We'll keep it simple. It's all body weight. So the warm up will just be fairly quick. We'll go through a couple of the world's greatest stretch. Then if you find a post for your arm, do a bit of a pec stretch, and then we'll do a big arching seal stretch. All right. So we'll do 5 world's greatest stretch on each side, like 30 seconds on your pec, and then we'll do 30 seconds of the seal stretch. Good?
All right, so let's hop in. We'll start bringing people over. Again, if you want to join Matt on screen, please just use the raise hand feature and we'll start bringing you over. Have fun. Get your butt kicked.
So this, just world's greatest stretch. 1 foot back, 1 foot forward, and rotate your elbow down. Oh, this is more for me than it is now. Oh. All right, now I'm going to go just on a wall door jam. Put your elbow up about chin height and just stretch out your pec a little bit. We're going to have a lot of push-ups in this workout, so just make sure you're a little bit loose there. Oh, wow. A lot of people joining. All right, last piece of the warm up, because it's going to be, there's going to be an ab movement in each round. Just a classic SEAL stretch. So lay on your stomach, put your hands next to your shoulders, and just arch up. Try to push your hips into the ground a little bit. A couple deep breaths. All right, so before we get into the workout, we'll go through each movement, just make sure everyone's on the same page. So we're going to be working for 2 minutes and then have 1 minute of rest. And we're going to alternate in between the rounds. So the first round is going to start with the jumping lunges. And then the next round is going to start with the jumping air squats. Jumping lunges, you're just alternating feet. So left foot out front, jump, switch your right foot out front. I think everyone just go until your back knee touches the ground. Pretty simple. The mountain climber push-ups. I know this is a little bit different. I'm not sure if people use another name for this, but you're going to do a push-up and then left knee to left elbow, put your foot back down, another push-up, right knee to right elbow, back down, and you just alternate back and forth for 16 reps. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I'm seeing some people doing them. You got them right. Yeah, I'll just do a couple real quick just to make sure. Oh, is my camera? Oh, you'll tilt my camera down a little bit. Yeah, perfect. So push up. So just opposite or left knee to left elbow, right knee to right elbow after every push up. And then after that, these knee tucks, these are one of my favorite movements. When I first started doing them, they absolutely kicked my ass. But you're just sitting in an L sit, hands next to you, and keep your heels off the ground. And you're going to pull your knees into your chest, extend them back out. If it's too challenging, move your hands further back and lean back a little bit more if you really want to scale it up. If you can get your hands up towards your knees and your torso is leaning forward, you're an A+ student. But what we're going to do, just like this, heels up, tuck in, back out. With this workout, there's no score. It's just trying to get sweating as much as you can. With the knee tucks, if you want a little bit more of a challenge, hold the tuck at the top for half second, 1 second during every rep. All right, the next piece. So the next 2 minute block is going to be 30 jumping air squats. I think everyone gets that. When I wrote this up, I was worried that it was going to be too simple. It is a burner. It will really burn. If you want more of a challenge, keep your hands on your head so you're not using your arms for momentum while you're jumping. 16 squat thrusts. This is just a burpee without the push-up. So come down. You're just jumping your feet back. Come up. Very simple burpee without the push-up. And then the last piece, max Russian bicycle twists. So same thing, sitting on your butt, V up, and then just twisting through as you're cycling your knees. All right, is everyone good? Are we good to go? Does anyone have any questions? All right, I'm seeing a few thumbs up. Perfect. Okay, let me get my clock set. All right, so we got 6 rounds, 2 minutes on. All right, 6 rounds, yep. 6 rounds, 2 minutes on. 6 rounds, 2 minutes on. All right. So the first round is going to start with jumping lunges into the mountain climber push-ups into the max knee tucks. All right. We good? All right, here we go. 10 seconds. Oh, you'll tilt the screen up a little bit.
Mountain climber push-up. 16.
Oh. All right, 1 round done. I saw some people, I don't know if you're going for extra credit for the mountain climber push-ups. You do 1 push-up, 1 knee to 1 elbow, bring it back down, push up, another knee to another elbow. If you're going for extra credit, by all means, have at it. I'm doing 1 knee to 1 elbow at a time. Oh. Crap. Oh, I set up the clock incorrectly. All right. 6 rounds. All right, 10 seconds, starting with the jumping and air squats. 16 of these.
Squat throws, yeah. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh. All right, guys, we're a third of the way through. I don't know about you guys. Those jumping air squats burn way more than I was expecting. All right. The next round, we're going to start with the 40 jumping lunges again. Whew. And with the mountain climbers, I count them as like left leg, 1 rep, right leg, 2 rep, 3 rep, 4 rep. I'm not going like 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. I'm just counting each rep as its own. All right. Jumping lunges, here we go. Oh my God. 3, 2, 1. Oh. Oh.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh. Hope that went well for you guys. I know I had about 15 seconds less on the knee tucks than the first round. All right, 30 seconds rest, then we're starting into the next round with 30 jumping air squats. Oh my God. So dry. 5 seconds. Oh my God. Whew.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest.
All right, guys, last round. We got 2 more intervals. This next one should be the hardest. And then the last one's nice and easy because it's the last one. You got nothing to save yourself for. All right, starting off with 40 jumping lunges in 25 seconds. Three, two, one. Whew.
3, 2, 1.
All right, guys. That was the hardest round. We got one more to go, and then we're done. Oh. All right, last round starts with 30 jumping air squats. Really try to push the cadence on this one. It's your last interval, last round. Let's give it everything. Five seconds. 2, 1, go. Oh.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest.
Oh. Oh. Whoa. Guys, thank you for doing that. That was my first time doing any heavy breathing in a couple weeks. I needed the accountability there. All done. I don't know about you guys. I thought that was going to be an ab burner. It was all quads for me. I also haven't squatted in a month or two, so it's going to hurt tomorrow. Whew. From that, if you want to do a bit of a cool down, I'd suggest doing the seal stretch again. Probably do just like a quad stretch or couch stretch. Those 30 air squats, I thought they'd be easy. Those burn me up badly.
Hey Matt, I'm gonna hop in here just to let you catch your breath and get everybody ready to ask some questions. First of all, thank you guys for joining this morning, this evening, wherever you are. I'm Matt O'Keefe. I'm Matt's friend, most importantly, but also his manager. And I'll be fielding some questions from you guys. And there's a little Q&A box down the bottom right corner that you can fill in a question. Please put your name and location. That'd be great. Matt would love to hear where you're from and what your name is when I do ask the question. Matt, just to get started as we sort of get rolling here, people want to know how often you work out.
Now, I've been working out every day. I've been good about that. But I'd say for the last no less than 2 weeks, it's been biceps, triceps, and chest. I haven't even looked at a cardio machine in a couple of weeks. But I think it's about time to start getting back into that, hit some assault bike intervals or something.
Great. And I think we're gonna start with a live look-in from Virginia Beach. I don't know if these guys on the tech side just need to bring them in, but I think that's where we're gonna start, and we're gonna push it over to them to ask some questions live.
Cool.
Great. Can you guys hear me okay?
We can, yes, go ahead.
Hey, first and foremost, Matt, thanks so much for doing this for us, man. We really appreciate what you do for the community in a whole. And my name is Michael Schwarting, and I run a program for the USO called the Outdoor Adventure Team. We're kind of a funnel for wounded, ill, and injured who have interests or goals to compete inside the DoD Warrior Games and the Invictus platform. So you can see a little bit of our space behind me. We like to call it our small building that does really big things. But a lot of equipment you're familiar with, thanks to Rogue and Normatec and all kinds of stuff. So congratulations on your decision to retire. Super excited for you. We follow your wife's company too, which is awesome to see the good stuff that you're doing there. But does anybody have a specific question for Matt that you want to come up and ask? So we've got some active duty officers and enlisteds here, some of their spouses. We got some Italian commandos in here also. So we loved what you put on today. Thank you so much for what you got going.
Thank you guys for joining.
Anybody have a question from there before we take some of the questions that people have submitted? We'd love to hear from some of you guys.
Yeah, Matt, I think everybody's trying to still catch their breath. So we might raise our hand again if we got something, okay?
Let us know.
Thank you guys for putting us on.
Great.
I don't know, I'm still trying to catch my breath.
I know, I'm trying to give you some time over there.
No, I'm good. Are there
Okay.
submitted questions?
Yeah, we're ready. I have a bunch of questions, Matt. So I have Kyle in Baghdad, Iraq, wants to ask you what will be probably your favorite question. What's your favorite espresso maker?
Oh, that's an easy one. First, thank you for being over there. Thank you for your service. My favorite espresso maker right now is the one I have. It's the Lamarzico GS3 MP. It is an absolute unit. But I just like the fact that it has a manual paddle, so you can change the pressure as you're brewing, get different flavor profiles. I think from what I know, the only other one that's like on par with the Lamarzico GS3 are the Slayers. I think the Slayers look super badass. I think they're just a lot more modern looking, but I like the Lamarzico, just classic oak wood. It's what 9 out of 10 commercial coffee shops use. So it's just a good looking machine.
Great. I have a question from Chi, and I don't know where Chi is, but oh, here we go. Germany. Sorry. First of all, congrats on your retirement, and thank you for the workout. And they would like to know, what is your next adventure?
Oh man. So I think to start this, it's appropriate to say, I thought when I announced my retirement, I would have a lot of free time. That couldn't be further from the truth. I am busier now than I've ever been. Before I was busy, but it was very simple. I woke up, I knew I had to throttle myself in the gym, go to bed, do it all over again the next day. But now it's just new ventures. So it's just, I don't know, it's just different. It's a lot more time in front of a computer, but let's see what we got. I mean, we launched the YouTube channel, so I don't know for anyone there. This is Bo. He's with me all the time, helping out with the YouTube. Partnered up with some friends, starting a company. I don't know how much I can talk. It's still in the very infancy ages, but once the competitions start happening, you'll see us around. I'm sure we'll have booths, podium on it. So I'll leave that there. And then doing programming. I'm having so much fun. You know, I partnered up with some friends that run a company out of Miami, Hybrid. And, you know, it's been my number one request over the last couple of years of, you know, what are you doing in training? You know, I'm setting myself apart from the competition, and people want to know, all right, well, what are you doing differently in the gym? And I always played my cards super close to my chest, but now I'm like, oh, I don't care. I'll tell everyone that I competed against. I'll tell whoever wants it what I was doing in the gym. So, you know, that was one of those things. I didn't know how passionate I would be about it. But then when I actually sat down with a pen and paper to start writing out the training, it was a lot of fun. It's like playing Tetris with moving all the pieces around, make sure you can get it all to fit into the day worth of work. So just those are the projects on the table right now. I have a couple on the back burner that I'm waiting till the time's a little bit better, until I have a little more free time. But I mean, I'm busy.
You are. I can attest to that. You are more than maybe when you're in competition. We're going to go back to Virginia Beach. There's a live question for you. So if they want to come back on and ask that question, it'd be great.
Okay, we're back. Can you hear us again, Matt?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So one question that I had for you was, you know, when we built this program here in Virginia Beach, we had a lot of, you know, wounded, ill, and injured that were focusing kind of myopically on a specific sport. So if they were an archer, all they were doing was throwing arrows downrange. If they were a cyclist, all they were doing is cycling. And what we saw as missing was the kind of foundational piece of functional fitness and how it applies directly to every sport that there is, whether you're swimming or seated volleyball, any of that stuff. So my question is for you, when you decided to go all out and compete and go for the goal that you had with CrossFit, like how important did everything in your life, like was it a total flip of a switch when it came to analyzing sleep, analyzing your nutrition, analyzing how hard we're working, how many days a week? Like, can you share a little bit of your kind of background on that when you really decided to go nuts?
Yeah. So you know, my first couple of years in the sport, I just kind of took it as a side hustle. You know, school was my number one priority, and I kept it that way. And so, you know, when I would train when I could train, I wasn't moving anything else out of my schedule to then train. But after 2015, you know, I just decided like I don't want to have any what ifs. You know, in the 2015 season, I think I was capable of winning. But then it was like, all right, well, what if I wasn't staying up until 3 a.m.? What if I wasn't eating ice cream every night and pizza? What if I was in a better mental state? You know, all these different things. And so I kind of went the extreme other direction of just, you know, I said no to everything. I was the most selfish person. And not in terms of like take, but I wasn't giving energy or effort out to anywhere that wasn't absolutely mandatory to help my performance. And so after that season, I won. I broke the record for margin of victory, and I just went, okay, like I'm going to double down on that. And I just kept, you know, just any one little tiny percent that I could grab. You know, something even as simple as I do sauna sessions 3-4 times a week. Well, the sauna at the gym was 15 minutes away from my house. So that's a barrier of entry of 15 minutes. And I got to change and shower, all this stuff. Well, I went, no, I'm going to take out that barrier of entry, put a sauna in my backyard, put an ice bath in my backyard so that I have no excuse. I only have 30 minutes. I don't have a full hour. Can't do it. Sleep. I'm like a toddler with my bedtime routine. You know, TV off at 10. The room's completely blacked out. I have a cooling mat on the bed. I have air conditioning on. I have my Dawn simulator to wake me up. I drink my sleepy time tea. It is, yeah. I mean, I don't know how practical it is for everyone, but I'm looking for all of those little tiny gains throughout the way. And then even by the end, before the 20, I think it was 17 games, I was out riding my motorcycle, got sideswiped pretty badly, like wrecked the motorcycle, wrecked the car. But my ankle was just ballooned up. And I went, okay, like that's an unnecessary risk that I can't take anymore. And so basically a month before the games, I wrapped myself in bubble wrap. Like no motorcycle. I'm not doing any more trail runs. You know, we saw what happened this year. Like one of the competitors went on a trail run the week prior to the games and twisted her ankle. Well, that's an unnecessary injury to go in. It's easily preventable. You know, I kind of mentioned, like, I don't even use a steak knife. I don't use sharp knives for a couple of weeks, because if you cut your thumb, you hook grip everything. And now you're going to get blood. It's going to make your grip slippery. You're not going to be able to grip things as well. So it may sound silly to the everyday person, but like for me, 90% of my earning potential for the year, my life resume is based off that one weekend. And we've seen it before where, you know, the whole games comes down to one workout and there's 2 points separating first and second place. Well, if you're going in with a big slice on your hand, you're giving an advantage to your competitor. So anything that was kind of easy to change up like that, and a lot of it was possible because I have a support team around me, like O'Keefe, like Sammy, that, you know, they kind of see my dedication to it, so they're willing to help out and pick up the slack where need be.
That's awesome perspective. And if there's time for a follow-up question, you touched on something that I'm curious about. So my staff here has gotten certified through the Adaptive Training Academy for inclusion and, wounded warriors and stuff like that. You touched on the ice bath in the backyard. So we've recently started moving towards the Wim Hof program, you know, contrast treatment, the breathing and ice baths. How did you utilize ice baths during your workup for the games?
Yeah. I've heard great things about Wim Hof. I've never practiced it. You know, it was something that I picked up back when I lived at the Olympic Training Center. They had a hot tub, and then it looked like a second hot tub, but it was just a cold tub right next to it, and we would do contrast. And it was something that when I was doing it on a regular basis, I didn't know any other form of recovery that made me feel better. So I just kept doing it. And I found when I did just ice bath, you know, my muscles the next day will still feel a little bit tight because, you know, they just finished this hard contraction for 5-10 minutes. So when I'm going into a rest day, I'll end on cold tub. Because, you know, the next day I don't mind if I'm a little tight, it takes a little longer to get warmed up. But when I'm training, I just do contrast back and forth. So it's just a deep freeze that I sealed up and put a thermostat in. And then I have a 2-man barrel sauna right next to it. So I'll keep the barrel sauna up around 200 degrees. I'll do 30 minutes worth of intervals in it. And then like 3 to 5 minute intervals in the cold tub, and just back and forth. And that's one thing I've done no research on. I almost want this like willingness ignorance of, I think I feel amazing when I do it, and I don't want anyone telling me otherwise. So during the season, I'd say the sauna and ice bath is like my most utilized tool.
And daily?
I would say every other day. Every other day probably.
Thanks again, Matt. Appreciate it,
Absolutely.
buddy.
Thank you.
Here, you always love questions like this, for people that may be new to fitness or aspiring to get fit. And there's also, there's a lot of kids on here. So, I think it'd be great to hear from you. This is from Jordan Powell in Fort Stewart, Georgia, asking, so where do you believe a newbie should start when it comes to CrossFit specifically? Is your program, HWPO program, good for starters?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So I think one thing that a lot of people, I'm trying to think how to phrase this correctly. like they'll watch games athletes training and see, you know, the big numbers, the super complicated movements, the highly technical movements. And like everything I do is based off percentages, you know, so it doesn't matter if you're working off a 500-pound back squat or a 150-pound back squat, 50% is 50%. So everything, all the weightlifting I do is based off percentages. And then even when barbells are brought into Metcons, there's the RX weight, you know, that's the weight I might attack it at. But even that is based off my percentages. So if your 1 reps are in the ballpark of mine, yeah, that weight would be appropriate for you because it's all about the stimulus. But then I also put in a percentage. So say there's 275 deadlifts in a workout. I'll say, you know, this should be about a 50% deadlift. If your deadlift is 300 pounds, you should not be doing a 275 in the Metcon. Go to 50% of your deadlift so that we get the same workout out of this. So, you know, all of my training, when I'm testing it here, Sam and I will do the workouts side by side. Rowing intervals, bike intervals, everything. We do them side by side. Sammy is 4'11", fitness is for fun. And, you know, she barely fits on an assault bike. But we're able to do the same workouts because it's all based off your scores, not mine or what the top 1% does. And then, you know, I intentionally didn't put the option. Everyone has to go through the fundamentals. So even stuff like chest to bars or pull-ups, you know, I've never talked about this because I didn't want my competitors picking up on it. I don't do kipping anything when I was competing. I wouldn't do kipping anything for probably 9 months out of the year. It was all strict movements. And the only reason I would start kipping is to fall back into the rhythm of the movement before the competition. So, you know, even if you don't know how to do butterfly pull-ups or kipping handstand push-ups or anything like that, good. You don't need to. Like, that is not this program. This program is all strict movements, working off percentages. And I have friends testing it. One's a regional athlete, one's a competitive master athlete, one is just a master, and one is he's actually in the Air Force, father of 4. He's an F-16 pilot. And so super limited time, and they're all going through the same program, giving me feedback, you know, mainly how to structure it to tell people what I want them to do. But yeah, they're all loving it. They're all at drastically different fitness levels, but they're all cranking through the program without a hitch.
Great. A lot of people are asking for Sammy. Always worth pointing out. So they're wondering where Sammy is. They want to.
Yeah, Sammy took off. She took off to Nashville. We're in the process of getting the house packed up to move, but we're moving in a month or so. So we're kind of doing the classic dumping out all the clothes we haven't worn in 2 or 3 years and all that stuff. So she's out being productive.
A follow-up to that, you know, obviously Sammy has a big role in your diet, and people are wondering how much your diet's changed in retirement.
Oh my God. My diet looks nothing like it used to. So like, I hate eating breakfast or lunch. You know, when it's left up to me, I won't eat my first meal until 2 in the afternoon usually. You know, I'm up at 8 and I just hate eating breakfast. So when I was competing, it was, I'm up at 8, there's a plate of food on the table, and it was a big breakfast. And Sammy would sit there like, you're not allowed to leave until you clean your plate. And then, I mean, the amount of Snickers bars and Gatorade that I ate while training, you know, I probably took in 2,000 to 3,000 calories in liquid form while I was training, just because I couldn't take the volume of food. And then Snickers bars during the training session, just king size Snickers bars. I'd have a handful of them in the gym bag and just scarfing those down during training, just for that quick burn. I'll probably never eat another Snickers bar again in my life. I'm so sick of them. Gatorade, I mean, I drank the condensed Gatorade. So I would put a gallon worth of Gatorade mix in like an 8-ounce cup just to get the calories, just get that sugar, that quick burning fuel. I'll probably never drink Gatorade again. I'm so sick of it. So yeah, now it's more just like a regular diet. I guess I would probably qualify as like close to intermittent fasting just because, but it has nothing to do with wanting to fast. It's just, I don't like eating. I mean, the meals are the same, just the quantity is drastically different. I remember the first couple of weeks that Sammy fixed dinner for me, and it was just like this heap of food. And I would get maybe halfway through it and just be like, sweetheart, I can't finish it. I'm sorry. And she's like, oh my God, sorry. I'm used to giving you these like mountain portions. So it's the same: meat, vegetables, ton of white rice, ton of coffee. Probably not as good as drinking water anymore, but trying to get back on that train. So, I mean, the diet's relatively the same. I just have to be super conscious now of like eating desserts, because now I'm able to gain weight because I'm not working out for 8 hours a day.
Okay, we'll take a couple more here. And I think it's important to point out, because you can't see on my side, Matt, there are people from all over the world: Japan,
Yeah.
UAE,
That's awesome.
Iraq. Yeah, super cool. And sorry, we're not going to get to all your questions. I'm trying to summarize some of them. But there was a good question that came in from Thirsty Camel CrossFit in the UAE. And they wanted to know, when are the little Frasers going to start showing up?
That's a good question. I wanted them immediately. So, for a year, like Sammy was put on this earth to be a mother. She basically had to take care of me for the last 5 years. So I was like a giant toddler for her, of cleaning up after me, feeding me, making sure I was where I needed to be. And so I thought, as soon as I announced retirement, I was like, cool, let's go. Because for years prior, Sammy was always like, I want a baby. I want a baby. And I was like, just give me a couple years. Give me a couple years of having no real responsibilities and I'll set us up. And so I thought as soon as I retired, she'd be ready to make that change. And then she just like put the brakes on. She was like, no, I just went from taking care of you every waking moment of every single day for the last 5 years. I want some time before I have to take care of someone else. So she said, like, give me 1 year. Let's get this move done. Let's have 1 year of just being on our own. And so I keep trying to convince her, because I want little rugrats running around, but I can't blame her. She's taken a lot on her plate for the last 5 years. I didn't realize until I have free time, to realize how much she has done for me over the last couple of years. But yeah, so I mean, it's just an adjustment, but I'm sure I'll convince her sooner or later.
Before we get to the last question that on the military branch, I just want to say, just give some waves here, because there's so many questions and we're not getting to them, which is okay. Cameron in Mississippi, we have Kevin in Kentucky, we have Tiffany in Germany, Jamie in Germany, we have Ivan.
When the cameras are still on, I saw a couple HWPO shirts. So that was awesome.
People are asking, we need more HWPO gear. There's, got people in the UK, Ryan, and California, and Neva, and I've said, Iraq.
Thank you guys for joining. I can only imagine the amount of time zones that we're hitting right now. So if you're up late or up extra early, extra thank you to you for taking the time.
And I love this question for you, because we've talked about this and you've said it in some interviews, but like, what if you were gone in the military, because I know that was something that you even looked at one time or another, where would you have gone? What would you have gravitated towards?
Oh man. I mean, I tell my friend this all the time. Like I have a couple friends that are in the military. One of them, he was just here, but he's a Black Hawk pilot. And like he kind of tells me like what his job revolves around, or what his day looks like. And I always tell him like, man, I picked the wrong career. Like your day sounds like what I wish I was doing. You know, I don't really know quite enough. The quick summation that I got from a friend who was a ranger, and this is before I knew anything about military, this is years ago. He's telling me a story, and I was like, "What's the difference between a SEAL and a ranger?" And he goes, "If you want to sneak in, get the information, and leave without anyone ever knowing you were there, you send the SEALs." He goes, "If you want to go in and just let everyone know you were there and no one cares, and you just do whatever you want, you send the Rangers." And I was like, yeah, Ranger sounds pretty cool to me right about now. So I don't know enough about the military. Obviously, I've never been through any of the training or anything like that. You know, I admire anyone, you know, the USO tour we did a couple years ago, I got to meet people at every job, every level. And, you know, it was just admiration of talking to them. And it's like, "Hey, how much longer are you over here?" I'm like, "Oh, I got 6 more months." And I'm like, "Oh man, 6 months, like that's rough." And they're like, "No, I want to be here. This is what I love doing." And I remember like Sam and I were both sitting at the dinner table with this guy, and he's explained to me, he's like, "No, I asked to be here. I'm in the job that I want to be doing. I love every minute of this." And it was like, "Oh, that's incredible. You're doing something, like you're in your dream job." I didn't think of it like that, you know? So yeah, big admiration for all you guys just doing your part, serving your country. It's incredible. Thank you. You know, I know a lot of you are away from home right now. So thank you for your service.
All right, Matt, unfortunately, that is time for today. O'Keefe, as usual, as the moderator for the Q&A, you did a great job. Now, talking about the different time zones, we have people, service members, their family joining from Mississippi, Germany, New York, Dallas, South Carolina, the UK, California, Kansas, Al Asad in Iraq, Georgia, Al Dhafra Air Base in UAE, Hawaii, Kuwait, Washington, D.C., Kentucky, a bunch of others. This is really a global workout. So thank you for helping people get in shape and spending so much time. Now, before we do get going, I want to give you an opportunity to offer a final message of support to the service members and their families around the world.
I mean, thank you guys for doing what you do. You know, I'm sure my advice, it means something different to every other person, but I always find, you know, whenever I'm going into any situation, whether I enjoy it, don't enjoy it, anything, you know, there's classic hard work pays off, but I always think to like, make yourself proud, whether that's the effort or, you know, your placement at the end. It doesn't have to be about the end result, but I know anytime I go into a situation, it's just make yourself proud. So even if you're doing a job or a task that you don't love, it's like, just be proud of the effort. And usually it doesn't matter the end result, you know, it's as long as you can hold your head high at the end of the day, just make yourself feel good.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today with the world's most fittest man and CrossFit champion, Matt Fraser.